Hey, I'm Travis.
And I'm Adele, and our channel is all about helping couples in all seasons of marriage walk through crisis and navigate the healing journey together as a couple.
We hope you enjoy our channel and follow along this journey.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. We're so glad you're here today.
Yeah, how about that video from last week?
Wow, it was powerful.
Yes.
It was our friends Brad and Lisa Valencia with Unrelenting Pursuit. And they have a story that is so full of God. And so if you haven't seen that, you're going to want to go back and watch it, especially if you are in the circumstance where you have a spouse that isn't interested in reconciliation in the marriage. It's powerful because it really shows what God can do inside a marriage, even when someone thinks they don't want to reconcile.
Speaking of that, we have been getting so many comments from you. Yes. Specifically about that. So many questions, comments. Hey, can you help me walk through this?
Yes.
I have this specific question. And we're like, we need to start reading some of these. We need to start answering some of these because they're actually what you want to hear. They're actually what you're wanting to know. And so we have one today.
Yes. And in fact, I just want to say thank you for the likes and the comments, because when you do a thumbs up or comment, you're telling YouTube that more people need to see this video. And that's how YouTube actually picks it up and really projects it out there for more people. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
We can actually see that so many more people are starting to see our videos. That means more marriages are getting hope. And that's what our prayer is on our channel.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Okay, so here's one of the comments that we received this week. I heard you say on one of your videos that you had a hard time letting things go or something to that extent. And I thought, I get that. I still remember betrayal of things my husband did when we were dating. I don't think about it often, but when I do, it's still hurtful. I think my biggest fear is I will never be able to have peace again in my marriage. I fear this will always hurt. I want so badly to move forward. I'm willing to put this behind us, but I know I can't do it through my own strength. Only God can. What does true healing and restoration feel and look like?
Wow. Thank you for being so authentic in that question. And that's real life. You know, we've seen so many of those questions where they're like, I am really dealing with this in my marriage right now. I'm really dealing with, my spouse. I really want healing. I want restoration, but my spouse doesn't. And how do I work with that? Or in this question, that's just so real for her to have those questions, concerns.
Yeah, so the first question in this is how to let go of hurt from my past in marriage.
Do you relate to that?
Oh man, yes, because I have a long list of past hurts that I can bring up. Yeah. And the enemy wants nothing more than to use those things to keep you disconnected and keep you stuck where you are and keep you from experiencing intimacy in your relationship. And I know that the enemy knows that those who have been through some kind of a broken trust and betrayal in their marriage, there is an opportunity for that couple to actually have so much breakthrough that they experience even deeper, more rich levels of intimacy. And a lot of couples don't even have access to that until something happens in the marriage that forces you to start to look at yourself and, how did we get here? And so the enemy knows that, and he wants to prevent you from accessing freedom and intimacy in your marriage. So that's number one, is recognizing that there is an enemy out there and he is working and he is using the past to keep you from being able to move forward.
Yeah, Ephesians 6:12, it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but there is an enemy. There's a real enemy. In fact, there's a hierarchy of enemies. There's the rulers and the principalities of darkness. Satan is real, but flesh and blood is not the battle. There is no battle between the flesh and blood. There is a heavenly realm that has angels and demons that are real. Yeah. And it's just as real as we are right here talking to you right now. And even if we don't believe in those sort of things, it doesn't make it not real.
So that's the first step, is just recognizing that you're under attack and it's spiritual warfare. The second thing is there is such an importance in getting complete in conversation. And you may be asking, well, what does that even mean? How do I get complete? And that's a road that Travis and I also had to walk down because we had 12 years of hurt that we had to go through. And was it easy? No. But what we had that I think a lot of you are missing is emotional safety. And we had emotional safety, which gave us the ability to have conversations with each other about the past so that we could get complete on the other side. I mean, emotional safety is something that I think majority of marriages do not have.
Yeah, it's something we did not have access to. If you were not raised with the ability to have great conversation, to understand that your opinions matter, and I don't have to agree with them, and be okay with your opinion being your opinion
And emotions.
and your emotions and whatever it is you have going on with you. It's not really taught in this world
Right.
of listening and having good communication and conversation. And so it makes sense to me that, man, there's a whole world of people not speaking about their needs and desires and their beliefs and things because it's just too hard to bring that up.
Well, I think one of the reasons it's too hard to bring up is that when I bring up something from the past, what gets twisted and confused in that is that he would interpret that I am angry with him because of what he did. But really what's happening is it's about me. It's about my heart. I am struggling with an emotion that keeps reoccurring. And so talking about it and actually being heard in that conversation, that means you're being with my emotions and my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
Not that you agree with them, but you're being with me and you're seeing where I'm coming from. Then I have the ability to get complete about that.
Yeah, let me throw something out there because this can take a while to have a conversation about, and we have these courses on our academy, and you can get great value out of that. But even in that type of conversation where you're going to share something that's really important to you, I think one of the problems we have is I share inappropriately.
Right.
I share it's about you.
It's your fault.
And you made me feel this way, and you did this thing, and if you weren't doing these things or saying these things, then I would be okay. And that's not true either, because I have a personal responsibility of, these emotions that I have, because I feel not good enough. I feel like a failure. Those things came with me. They're part of my baggage from long ago and have nothing to do with you, Adele. Mm-hmm. But I sure will put them on you when I'm not whole and complete, and I don't really know what the emotions are that's going on in my body or what I'm feeling. I just know you made me angry.
Right.
You made me upset, and I don't like it. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole lot going on in the background that we're just not aware of. I like what you're saying. It is important to have a good, open conversation, being able to provide a transparent place from each other. Mm-hmm. But there is a good bit that goes into that conversation, a good bit of personal responsibility.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up because I do want to share about our course for couples walking through betrayal. That's what it's called, Walking Through Betrayal. And it is a step-by-step guide to help couples walk through betrayal. And it couldn't be more laid out in an easy path for you. Is this path an easy path? I think it is the most uncharted waters that there are so many different factors that play into each journey through betrayal, and everyone has a different experience through it. But when you have a guide that says, okay, the first thing you need to understand are the 5 steps of grief. And then you need to understand how to have emotional intimacy, how to have conversation in a safe environment. What does forgiveness actually mean? How to deal with triggers, how to walk through guilt and shame, how to not blame each other for the betrayal that happened in the marriage, but really look at yourself and what can I do to improve myself so that my marriage improves. And so much more is included in that course. I'll put a QR code on here so that you can scan it and go check it out for yourself. It's only $99. We wanted to keep it low and affordable so that every couple can actually do this. And the thing that makes this course unique is that there are separate videos because your journey is separate with the one who is betrayed and the betrayer. Your journeys are separate. However, we believe God designed it for both of you to walk side by side and support each other in this healing process. So there's separate videos to watch. While we do recommend both of you watch all the videos together because it'll give you insight into what your spouse is actually going through and how to really support them and help them through that process. I believe that couples that walk through this course get to the other side so much quicker because you actually have tangible things that you can be working on and doing for yourself to heal. Right. It's so important to take that personal responsibility and stop waiting on someone else to get better for me to get better.
Yes, that is so good.
And also, if you're a spouse that your spouse doesn't want healing, it's designed for you as well. Yeah. You would just go through the portion that really applies to you and not do the other portion. And that's why we did it so that, you could go through it separately so that it works for both individuals and couples who are walking this journey. The emotional safety video is in there. And that's what we were just talking about. The importance of being able to see each other and have empathy for each other and what we're going through so that we can walk side by side and get complete from past hurts that the enemy loves to use. So how to let go of hurt from the past in my marriage. I really practiced capturing those thoughts, and I would speak out loud to the enemy. So it sounds something like this. I have this thought of an affair that happened, and I'm feeling not good enough. And I start thinking about that, and I'm like, wait a second, I've chosen to forgive, and I've already forgiven all that. So I rebuke you in Jesus' name. I'm complete about that. I don't need to continue to think about it. And then I literally let it go. We have a saying that says, I can entertain my thoughts or be entertained by my thoughts. And so I've recognized that I am not my thoughts. And when the enemy says something into my mind, I have the opportunity to grab it and think about it. That's entertaining my thoughts. Or I can be entertained and be like, whatever, I see you. I see the plan.
That's
no,
power.
thank you. And I don't have that significance that I'm giving to that thought because it wasn't me to begin with. It came from the enemy. So
Pause, rewind 1 minute, play again.
we have a saying that says, I can entertain my thoughts or be entertained by my thoughts. And so I've recognized that I am not my thoughts. And when the enemy says something into my mind, I have the opportunity to grab it and think about it. That's entertaining my thoughts. Or I can be entertained and be like, whatever, I see you. I see the plan.
That's
no,
power.
thank you. And I don't have that significance that I'm giving to that thought because it wasn't me to begin with. Yes, that's a really good distinction there because it really does help you let go of the thoughts.
Thoughts make me miserable, and you are not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. I'm telling you, that is one distinction that if we can really get that, we can have power over our lives.
Yes.
You are not your thoughts, and my thoughts can make me miserable if I choose to entertain them.
Yes. And be them.
Yeah, I'm not the thought. I'm the observer.
Yes. So the next question is, what does true healing and restoration look and feel like? Such a great question. It really had me reflect on what does that feel like? And for me, it feels like freedom. It feels like peace and passion and love and restoration and life in marriage. And I felt none of that before the betrayal, for one. And I certainly didn't feel it while I was in the middle of healing from the betrayal. And we are 4 years out since I found out, and we're 9 years out from the time that Travis was unfaithful. I feel like each year that goes by, it feels like I have been healed for quite a while. And it's even hard for me to look back and sometimes get connected to the emotions that I felt during that time. I can access them, but it actually takes work. And that's another way to know that, wow, I'm not dwelling on the past anymore. I'm actually looking forward at the future and growth and how can we make this marriage the best that it can be.
Yeah. That's really good. I think one thing I'll add to that is maybe a roadblock that kind of blocks the healing is resisting.
Yes.
Resisting what is so. What is so is whatever the betrayal happened. And whatever you're feeling. And if we resist, like, I don't want to feel hate and betrayal, and I don't want to feel not good enough and unloved, and that's how you're feeling. If there's a resistance to it, it will make you miserable.
And prolong it. And I did that. I tried that, and it did not work for me.
Yeah, and we say a whole lot more about that in our course. And the next one is forgiveness and unforgiveness. Unforgiveness really does block healing that would be available to us.
Yeah, and forgiveness isn't for you because of what you did. It's for my healing.
It absolutely
Because
is.
God has something for me in that. He knew that unforgiveness would block my ability to heal. That's why he says to forgive 7 times 70, meaning every time. Because it's good for me. There's actually something for me to get from that, and that's healing.
I love talking about these comments. I love talking about the questions and answering them, and thank you for giving them. Thank you for sending your requests and your questions to us. privately or on comments, we want to hear them. We want to talk about them. What's important to you, we want to be able to have good conversation because we're getting a lot of very similar questions.
Yes.
Around these. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're going to be answering a lot more of your questions. And I imagine that the ones that are brave enough to be vulnerable, be transparent, and put themselves and their story out there, there's a lot more people out there that resonate with that. So thank you so much for subscribing. And that way you get to hear other people's questions.
Yes. Oh, next week. Next week, we have this video coming out with our friends, Randy and Cynthia Lell, and they're releasing a book. It will be released by the time this video comes out. Oh, it is dynamic. It is powerful. We love this couple. We just recently met them. We love them. We are encouraged by their story of hope and restoration and forgiveness. Oh my goodness.
Specifically around some terrible trauma as a child, abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. And so if that is your story or you know someone with that story, please send them this video. Send a link so that they can set a reminder for it because it is going to change lives.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And if this man can get healing from the kind of past that he had, so can you.
Amen. Amen.
So be sure and watch it.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I look?
A little slumped. You look stiff, but something in the middle of that. Hey, and welcome back to our channel. We're so excited you're here today. I thought you were going to pick up after that. You just sat there. Wait. Oh, gosh. I had the worst nose itch. I was trying so hard not to itch it while I was reading. Okay. Ooh.
We can't come back laughing from that.
Right.
That's good.
I choose not to entertain the thought. I can be let me rephrase that. We have a saying that is, I can choose to be entertained by my thoughts, or I can entertain. Am I saying it right?
You are. That one.
Botching it
That
up.
one's great. I want you to keep going. You're doing great. Say it with confidence, and I'll tell you if you're wrong.
Okay. We have a saying that says, I can choose to be entertained by my thoughts, or I can entertain my thoughts. Is that right? Now I'm all confused. I can't even figure out what's the right phrase. Can you say it?
Yeah. It's a wrap.